Okay, we're live.
Hi, everybody. Sorry about that. Take two for the podcast tonight. Anyway, I'm welcome to Game Show Talking Fun for this week. I'm Scott Goldiner, and joining me once again at the round table of Game Show discussion, my co-host and original creator for the podcast, David. Welcome.
Hey Scott, how you doing tonight, buddy?
Doing well, and coming to us all the way from the land down under, Carla. Welcome.
Welcome, and I got one more thing to say. If you're watching Chris Yarzovac, happy birthday!
Yes, happy belated birthday to Chris, to our good friend Chris Yarzabek. Oh boy, do we have a doozy of a stuff to talk about tonight.
Yes, we do.
But, where do we begin?
Well, let's start with the news that just recently broke. Mike Richards. Now, remember, this is all speculation. We cannot confirm this, but we do have people in the business that have said, reliable sources that have told us this, that Mike Richards is leaving The Price is Right.
Ooh.
Right. Now, also, according to the speculation on that, he's leaving that to go to work for Sony to help them create more game shows. So
Okay.
that
Now,
that's
now we know Mike Richards is the one that I guess you could say drug Price into the modern era.
right.
So is this good for Price or is this bad for Price if indeed he is leaving?
Who would you get to replace him? If he is leaving, who would you get to replace him?
I'm not sure.
There's only
Well,
two people.
I
There's
can
only
tell you right now, a lot of people are wanting Roger to come back.
right, but we know Roger's happily retired, and we don't think Roger's going to come out of retirement to do more Prices Right.
No, I don't think so.
Now, what about Jay?
Now Jay Wolbert he might do it, but at the same time, understand he works for Disney now.
Oh.
If he was to go back to Price, him and Drew would be a perfect fit.
Oh.
Now keep in mind, people forget that it was Jay Wolbert that really got Price going in the 70s again. Yes, it was Mark Goodson but Mark Goodson was the money. People forget that. Mark Goodson was only the money. He put most of these shows in the hands of capable producers.
Do you think that Bob Stewart's son would do it? Do you think Sandy would do it?
Do I think Sandy would do it? I think he would. What he was working with in China on lottery game shows.
Ooh.
Interesting.
But Sandy Stewart, quite possibly. And remember, it wouldn't be far fetched because Bob Stewart is the creator of The Price is Right.
Oh.
That would be that would be a full circle.
Yep, it would be.
And speaking of The Price is Right, this Sunday over on Buzzer, they were showing the original Price is Right
Bill Cullen.
Yep.
with I guess we could consider Bill Cullen to be the Johnny Carson of game shows.
Yep.
Good. He did. You got to remember that Bill Cullen did 36 game shows.
Whoa.
That's a lot.
6. not counting the pilots he hosted. 36 aired game shows.
Damn, that's a record.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone can break Bill's record.
No. It's a record that likely will never be challenged.
Yep.
And the only person that could really challenge it
It's
Would
Rick
be-
Mondale.
right now would be Alex Trebek.
Oh yeah, him.
Yeah, but we know Alex is staying put on Jeopardy. He's not gonna do anything else.
No.
Oh.
Not unless NBC really gets the concentration talks going again.
Yep.
Then we
True.
might see him back.
Or, somebody more capable of knowing the game and keeping the game going.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's a question. Speaking of concentration, hey, Woj,
Welcome, Woj.
and all the way from Long Island, let's welcome Woj to our table. Woj,
Yeah.
good evening to you, sir.
Thank you. The most famous man from Long Island, not named Billy Joel.
Where about? I forgot where you're from on the island.
Specifically, Mineola. It's the county seat of Nassau County. It's about three miles east of the borderline of New York City.
So it's that many.
Yes, I mean, in fact, I'm in the county directly east of yours.
Yes. Well, I'm in Astoria, so that's a. Anyway, so Woj, we're talking about the supposedly news of Mike Richards stepping down from Price.
Well, I mean, according to our good friend Randy West, and I know I'm not talking out of school here, since this is public knowledge, that he's apparently accepted a position with Sony to develop new games with them, and considering that he's been with Price is Right now for 11 years. I mean, it's been a tumultuous time, especially at the beginning. He's managed to bring the Price is Right into its own identity in the Carrie era. I mean, he's under his guidance. The show has won 3 Emmys for Outstanding Game Show, and I think that considering that, I mean, Harry, I don't know if he's going to be directly working with Harry Friedman, or if he's going to have his own production company there, but I wish him luck at Sony. I'm not sure if whoever the new showrunner for Price is Right. I mean, and I don't know if he's leaving Let's Make a Deal as well. Has that been mentioned?
Yeah, he does both. Now, from what we were just talking about, a lot of people want the Dob to come back.
Well, the chances of that happening are 0.000%.
It's not
Right,
happening, in other words.
No.
Yes,
We were just talking about that.
considering
And then
why else would you want to return to a job from a company that fired you 11 years ago and you still complain about it on Facebook after all these years?
Oh.
Now,
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Now, what about Jay Wolpert?
Well, I mean, I know Jay has a better relationship. I know he had a good, according to an interview I read with him on the Land of Parting Gifts, or Slobo to the Land of Parting Gifts website, that he had a good relationship with Mike Richards. And I mean, I think he was, but then again, Jay Wolpert is a much more flamboyant producer than Roger Dockowitz or Frank Wayne or Bob Barker were. So
Do you think? Let's say Jay Wolpert does come back. Do you think Jay Wolpert and Drew Carey would be a perfect fit for each other?
I think so, considering how they like to do things in a more offbeat way. So, and also with Jay Wolpert, I don't know how his screenwriting career has gone. He's only gotten 2 screenplays that have actually been made into movies, between The Count of Monte Cristo and the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Oh, I didn't know he did the Count of Monte Cristo.
Yep.
Yeah, and he only worked on the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Wow.
As he came up with the characters there, but I think it's going to be
And he's still getting a royalty check every time that movie plays somewhere.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he gets credited for the characters for each subsequent sequel, but I think Price is Right will be okay. I mean, regardless of what these Dobkowitz sycophants say.
Right. I say this. Let Roger enjoy his retirement. and everything. Because in
Yeah.
that way, he can keep us up to date with what's going on with Bob and everything too.
Yeah, considering, I mean, it's very difficult especially when there's years of separation after a job that fired you after a long tenure there. So again, there's naturally going to be sour grapes, especially considering that knowing Roger, he's going to want to do things his own way, and Fremantle Media and CBS are not going to allow that to happen.
Well, now that Les is not there anymore, maybe Bob, if Roger were to come back, maybe he could get away with more now.
Again, the current CEO hasn't really put his stamp on the network yet. He's been there for less than a year. He's basically just inherited everything that Les had.
And has to clean up half the mess that Les had too.
Well, I mean, considering he's kept Mrs. Moonvest there, so I think he'll be fine with some of the mess.
I would have gotten rid of them both. That's my opinion.
I mean, it makes me wonder how much begging she had to do to not get fired.
What, she actually came back to the talk?
No, she never returned to the talk. She's still hosting Big Brother. I mean, she's basically the breadwinner in the family now. Especially after the CBS board of directors denied him that $120 million severance package.
Oh,
Yeah.
ouch.
All right, then. Yeah. All right, then. Now let's move on to.
Well, thank you for the update on that one, Woj.
Yeah.
All right, then. Now let's move on to what's been happening on ABC. And if you've been living under a rock, I'm sorry, but what once was old is now new again. We've
Right.
got.
Well, let's Dave.
Hard
Dave. Well, let's finish up with the other stuff first, and the other smash and trash stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, then we'll get into that. So the other night, excuse me, the other night we had 2 new game shows premiere. One of them being Spin the Wheel, created by. I always get those 2 confused. So,
well, again, Justin Timberlake is the big name producer behind this. He's basically the LeBron James of this show.
and the other game show, the other show is called Holy Moly, and that has Seth Curry, and that is ABC's Extreme Mini Golf.
Yep.
So we'll take the latter one first. Now, Woj, did you actually get a chance to see Holy Moly yet?
I only saw part of it. I mean, it's pretty clear that ABC is trying to find. I mean, ever since the dawn of Wipeout, they've been trying to get a show that either aired back to back with it or just replaced it after it was canceled. I mean, we've had shows like I Survived a Japanese Game Show, Downfall, 101 Ways to Leave a Game Show, and now we have Holy Moly, which is trying to be, a Wipeout with America's Funniest Home Videos or Most Extreme Elimination Challenge. But again, this one seemed to be a little more restrained than usual. It doesn't really go for over-the-top wackiness like Wipeout did.
Right. Now the other thing is, to clarify, Wipeout in the UK was actually known as Total Wipeout.
And in Australia, it was known as Wipeout still.
Yep. The only thing is, we in these states only had the issue with Wipeout and everything.
Yeah, and we in the
Wow.
States actually had our own Wipeout course here. Every other country had to go to Argentina to film.
Yeah, no, Australia too.
But I think our version was the only version to get sued.
By the Japanese producers.
I think so. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, I forget if it was for Most Extreme Elimination Challenge or Sasuke.
No, it was for Wipeout. Wipeout was the one that got sued.
I'm just saying that if it was from the creators of Sasuke or
Oh,
NXT.
actually, I'm gonna look that up right now. But what do you think of Stephen Curry being part of it?
Again, he seems to be a little more restrained version of the Johns from Wipeout. Everything from what I saw and seemed a little more restrained. I mean, it's clear the obstacles were over the top, but considering the the nighttime setting. The humor seems to be coming more from the commentators rather than the post-production, references, telestrators, or sound effects. And it seems like they're trying to let the humor speak for itself here. I mean,
I got
Somebody tell me real fast, what's the grand prize on Holy Moly?
25,000, I think.
$25,000.
$25,000.
I got this here. This is dating back to 2011 from the Hollywood Reporter. ABC Edamon settle wipeout copyright lawsuit with Japanese broadcaster. Let's see. The article said here the 3-year-old litigation over ABC ABC's hit obstacle course competition show Wipeout is all too similar to several Japanese game shows is over. Documents filed in federal court revealed that ABC and production company Edamon have settled a lawsuit filed in 2008 with TBS, that's the Tokyo Broadcasting System, that alleged Wipeout was a ripoff of several shows, including MXC, Takashi's Castle, and Sasuke.
Ow!
So it sounds like just a bunch of different things.
Yep.
Right.
Okay.
No, that is our version. I think the UK version was more lax in acknowledging that. It's like, ABC, why'd you rip them off?
Well, considering we're about to talk about Fox ripping things off in just a minute or two.
Right.
Yep.
One of our two major subjects at our table today.
Which is?
Spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel.
Yeah, it's interesting that Andrew Glassman, the producer and creator of The Wall, has decided to go to a rival network and team up with Justin Timberlake to essentially create the same show.
Oh.
Crazy. When I heard that, I just heard that from Scott when we just literally an hour before we went on to air. That's crazy.
Well, and I got that information from Woj.
Yeah, I mean, because I didn't know it until seeing the credits, seeing the Andrew Glassman's name, and I know some producers have tried to create spin-offs or cash in on the success of other shows, but this is probably the least amount of creativity I've seen from any producer since Mark Burnett, when he tried to essentially create his own clones of his own shows.
Oh.
Do tell.
I mean, like Fifth Grader, he tried to do Our Little Genius, which, well, we know how that went.
Yeah, that fell into game show scandal.
Yeah, I mean, Survivor, he eventually created Pirate Master, which was just Survivor on a boat. But then again, this also comes from Fox, which is also notorious for trying to give their answer to other networks' game shows like Greed, It's Your Chance of a Lifetime, Don't Forget the Lyrics, and Boot Camp.
Well, Don't Forget the Lyrics on Fox?
It was on Fox. It was essentially their answer to The Singing Bee.
Right. But at least Don't Forget the Lyrics was more fun.
Yeah, it had a longer run than the primetime Singing Bee.
Right. And I will say this. They couldn't have gotten a better host for the Singing Bee, Wayne Brady.
Yeah,
he didn't. Don't forget the lyrics.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Don't forget the lyrics. The Singing Bee was Joey Fontaine.
Joey Fontaine. I know that.
Yeah. I meant to say don't forget.
Yeah, the daytime version.
Yeah, but Mark McGrath did the daytime version of Don't Forget the Lyrics.
Right. That was a fun show.
Yeah, but let's talk about Spin the Wheel. I mean, considering we have a wheel instead of a wall, to basically the first couple rounds basically work the same way. Is that you get a question right, you earn the money. Get a question wrong, you lose the money.
Right. So it's basically the wall meets the big spin.
Exactly. We have a nationwide game show that has that kind of wheel with the ball in it. But then
There's,
we
al-
get to
there's only one thing missing from that combination.
What?
Jeff Edwards.
Jeff Edwards, right?
I knew you were going to say that. We're obviously going to mention our dear departed friend as much as we can.
Yes, Jeff. We like you down here.
Yeah, but then we get to the final round, and this is where we get to the bailout baloney that we had suffered
Well,
through
wait.
on
I'm
Life.
gonna say round 3 is baloney too.
It's unneedlessly complicated.
Right, but
How complicated
here's
is
how. I'll tell you how complicated it is. It's so complicated it makes dumb door look blank. I'm sorry, I had to throw in the match game reference to that, Carla. You
That's
walked me
okay.
into that one. You set me up perfectly for that. Anyway, here's my solution to that.
Okay.
Okay.
And I told you about this, Dave. Well, you know how in round 3 you have those 4 sections of the wheel that you have to build?
Yes.
So in that round, you know that there's the $250,000, $500,000, million, and $2 million question. And depending on what you choose, the risk is all those back to zeros.
Mm-hmm.
Here's how I would do it. The $250,000 is the back to zero. $500,000 back to zero, you lose 25% of your bank. For the million, back to zero, lose 25%, lose 50%. The 2 million, back to zero, 20 minus 25 minus 50 minus 75% of your bank.
Yeah, I mean, that just needs to be much more simplified, considering you have the order that you pick them in, and also the questions not being fully revealed, and then basically Dax not explaining that you don't lose money this round, and then you have to split it on the 4 sections of the wheel there, and that basically there's a lot of stuff to remember there.
Right.
I mean, it would make Jay Wolford blush.
In my case, it would be you get the 25, you get the any of the questions right, all 4 of those spaces become that amount. Simple and done. There you go.
Ooh.
Yeah, but now let's get to as I was explaining, this bailout baloney that got carried over from Set for Life, and that basically your family member decides when you keep the money, who's not even involved, who's barely involved in the game at all, except for pressing the double button. Again, taken directly from the wall, but at least on the wall, the teammate does participate in the first round of the questions and is involved in answering the questions too. But I mean, this person just barely does anything. It's just making decisions, basically only one step above the similar role that the Guardian Angel played on Set for Life. If you even remember Set for Life.
I did.
Did that show ever make it to air?
It did.
Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel hosted that show, and he exhibited none of the same charisma or energetic side that we saw on Win Ben Stein's Money.
Right.
He was there for the paycheck.
He was, according to our good friend Cindy, he was basically phoning it in.
Okay.
I like to fight a friend.
Yeah.
Now,
Wrong show, Carla. So let me ask you this, Woj. Round 3 and round 4, how would you fix it?
Well,
Yeah, let's see what we can do here. Let's put our minds together and let's see what we can do to fix this show.
ho, guys. What do you say
Yeah.
we hold that off for another episode? Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Hold that off for another topic.
and one more thing I'd like to say is that I think Dax Shepard is a great host of this show. He cares about what the contestants are going through. He roots for them to win. He reads the questions very well, and he connects with them. I mean, I think that ABC really let him slip through their fingers, considering he's doing Bless This Mess for them. He should have been the host of Card Sharks, in my opinion.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. So I guess that title of that podcast would be "Fix This Game Show."
Yeah, fix this show.
That might be our topic for next week.
Okay.
It's a good topic.
Fix the show. So with and now here's your host, Bob Vila.
Yeah, we would need Richard Karn to serve as his sidekick.
Yeah. Oh wait, are we making this the Binford feud then?
The Binford America.
All right.
Oh, good.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to remember he was the host of season 2 of Bingo America.
Right.
Yeah.
Another Andrew Glassman production.
What was the I never really understood what the problem was with that show.
I mean, I think most of the problems were fixed in the second season where they got the new host, they got a better bonus round, and they also fixed the problem they have with their website that when it crashed during the first season.
Yeah, we had a similar show to Bingo America. It was called National Bingo Night, and it had a bit of controversy behind the show too.
Right. I remember watching that video on YouTube and everything. But anyway, with all of that out of the way, it's time to talk about our topic for tonight. What is old is new.
Yep.
Old.
We have seen this summer. Well, 4 years ago, it all started when ABC announced they were going to bring back the $100,000 pyramid. That led to Match Game. Match Game then started leading into the other shows that we now have. We now have Card Sharks. We now have Press Your Luck.
To tell the truth.
And we also have To Tell the Truth. I mean, take a look at what has happened. ABC is leading the way here.
Right. It's
Now-
like they've taken a page from Mark Goodson's, forgive me for saying it this way, Mark Goodson's Bible on how to produce a game show.
Yeah, considering some of their shows have been Goodson Todman Productions.
Mm-hmm.
To tell, what are we going to see next from ABC? Are they going to bring back What's My Line?
I don't know.
What we're going,
Now-
what
go
we're
ahead.
seeing right now. What we're seeing right now. Now, we have game shows on Fox. We have game shows on NBC. We have game shows on ABC. CBS is going to get into the game sometime,
We also have game shows on the CNBC.
right?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see CBS throw their hat in the ring sometime. We don't know how it will probably be another. They'll probably order another run of the $1 Million Spectacular for The Price is Right. That would be
Ooh.
I wouldn't bet on that, David, considering their recent $1 Million Mile got canceled after 4 episodes.
Eek.
So I want to ask you about that, Woj. Maybe you can answer this question. Was it a serial show or was it self-contained episodes?
It was self-contained. They played about 3 or 4 games or 3 or 4 contestants in each hour of the show. But basically, they took it off after 2 episodes and put The Amazing Race. They bumped it up a month early and then aired 2 episodes on Saturday nights and then canceled it with 6 episodes unaired.
So
Oh.
what
Okay,
happens
I
to
didn't
the, so let me ask you this, Woj. What happens with those 6 episodes where those contestants were either if they won money or they did not? Do they still get paid for that?
If your episode doesn't air, you don't get paid.
Okay.
Yeah, El Zippo.
So the $1 Million will go unclaimed on that show.
Yeah, but considering the low totals on that, I mean, nobody even got close to winning $1 million.
Okay.
What was the highest that was ever won on that?
I think about 50,000.
Okay.
All right. That's reasonable, right, Dave? 50,000.
I'll call that reasonable for a primetime game show. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean-
that's like your first trip up the pyramid.
yeah. Your first trip up the pyramid today is worth $50,000. Get up it again, and it gets you another 100 for what's called
Ooh,
150,000 club.
Right.
Alright.
And somebody joined that about 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
Yeah, I know Buzzerblog keeps track of that.
Somebody joined the 150,000 club a couple of weeks ago.
Now, do we consider everyone who won the tournament on Clark's version to be part of that club too?
Well, again, this is an apples and oranges scenario in terms of the structure of the show.
Right. I'm just saying in total winnings, I would include everyone from Clark's $100,000 and Davidson's $100,000 in that club.
Yeah, I mean, considering, we're talking about people who cleared both winner circles in the same episode.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we don't mention certain other ones.
Well, basically, on that version, you had to clear both to get into the tournament.
Right.
Yeah, Cindy did. The game show reviewer did a whole episode on Pyramid and explained the flaws of that.
I mean, even so, the $100,000 tournament they had there was needlessly complicated.
Right. The 3 fastest times come back.
That's all you needed. That's all.
Right.
That's all Bob Stewart needed. You know, he tried it the first time with a $50,000 pyramid. He saw the flaws. He fixed it.
Right. But I think in the 50,000, it was the 3 fastest times in the front game, not in the end game.
Yes, it was the 3 fastest times in the front game. That's why the clock counted up from 0 to 30 instead of from 30 to 0.
Right.
But he saw the flaws. He fixed it, and now we have the tournament format that everyone remembers.
Yeah.
Right. And remember, just don't call Vicki Lawrence Kyle Burnett.
Nope.
Now the ratings have been steady for Pyramid. They all have been steady. I mean, the ones that are rising, and there's no surprise here, are the ratings for Press Your Luck. They're going up.
Because it's everyone's favorite game of everybody wants to get on there to beat the whammy.
And also the fact that there's a huge nostalgic following for Press Your Luck, considering how many years of reruns it's had. And also, how many times when you watch a movie or a TV show that someone will often say big bucks, no whammies as a reference.
Right. We've had it even on an episode of Family Guy.
Yeah, if you can if you hear them say it in a non-game show setting, you'll know how remembered it is.
Right.
Now,
if I like that, I will raise your taxes.
We talked a little bit about Elizabeth Banks as host of Press Your Luck. She's also the producer of Press Your Luck.
What?
Now, I will admit in the beginning I wasn't too fond of her. She's starting to, like Woj said, let's give her a couple of weeks. She's coming into her own.
Right. But also remember, I think that I found out somewhere that they're showing the episodes out of order.
Right.
Yeah, you can tell if you look on your cable box, it'll often show you what number it is, whether it's like 108, 104. You can see what it is in the production order.
But you can see where in the beginning she was kind of iffy, and as you look through it, she's improved as a host. And like you said, Woj, there you can see that because they're airing them out of order, but you can see right now because I think this was episode 7, but only the 3rd one aired. She really grasped it this time.
Yeah, she did. She's gotten a much better grip on the pacing.
Right.
Well,
And I think Peter was the same way. Wasn't Peter the same way in the start too?
In the beginning, yes.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I remember he was much more, buttoned up, to use that expression.
Right.
And then Bill Carruthers turned him loose, and it's when Bill Carruthers turned him loose is when, the show just went from obscure to mainstream.
And it was also the fact that he had just come off of Hitman, which was much more of a cerebral-based show, so he was a little more buttoned up on that show as well.
Right.
Oh.
Do we know where in that Bill turned him loose?
We don't.
Go
I
ahead.
would say probably at the beginning of season 2 is when he turned him loose.
Before Larson struck.
Yeah, before Larson struck. When Larson struck, you could tell that Peter was turned loose and Bill let him do what he wanted.
I mean, that's a difficult situation for a host to be in when you have this contestant who's going this far. I mean, you don't want him to lose this money, but you can't tell him what to do. So, I mean, that was a real test for a host right there, and then Peter really pulled it off there.
Now, according to what some people say, according to some testimony, according to the Big Buck Scandal documentary, Peter told Bill Carruthers, "This guy's got to walk away with a network."
Oh boy!
Now, what would have happened in that kind of a situation?
Well, he would be sitting in Les Moonves's chair.
Yeah.
I didn't even think that was possible.
I mean, I know he said that jokingly, really.
Yeah, he said that jokingly, but he's like, "Oh God." But Peter is like, "Oh God, this guy knows something we don't."
Or that you don't want the public to know.
Right.
What would have happened if he kept going? Let's say he broke the $250,000 mark.
Well, he'd be there all week long. That would be like 5 episodes that they'd have to cut it into.
He could have kept going, but I think, like you said, $110,200 over $110,000, $110,237. I think
that's a lot of money back then.
That was a lot of money, and that record stood for 30-some years.
Well, I mean, in terms of daytime television.
Yes.
Because in terms of
daytime TV records, that stood for 30-some years until the premiere until the first episode of season 35 of The Price is Right.
Yeah, but it was broken in Bob's last season.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, but then again, I mean, you could tell Larson was getting tired at the time, so I mean, it's kind of hard to do when you're just seeing that light bounce around right there. It's like the Tetris effect. When you're playing Tetris for a long time, it starts to alter your brain. You start to see things, imaginary things falling from the sky.
Right.
Yep.
Now,
touch it. That sounds like an idea for a movie, Woj. The Tetris effect.
Now, let's Scott.
Yes.
Press your luck. 2019. Is it going to last?
I hope so. It's press your luck. It's to quote Peter, it's the most competitive game on TV.
Okay. Woj, is it going to last?
It will definitely last.
So healthy.
It will definitely last, considering it's on in the summertime. You don't need the ratings, and also considering the nostalgia for it. It has a huge following, and also considering it's a simple game. Americans love simplicity. They love to gamble, so it's perfect for prime time.
Right. Carla, do you think it's going to last?
Absolutely.
All right then. Now here's something I want to mention.
All right.
Considering what we're seeing in the United States, and Carla, I'm coming over to your neck of the woods for this one.
Yes.
Are we going to see a revival of game shows in Australia? because of this.
I'm not sure. We've only got really three on television at the moment, which is the Chase Australia, Millionaire Hot Seat, and now Celebrity Name Game. That's about it.
Right. So what? Sales not on anymore right now. I'm guessing.
No.
No,
Jason's
there
not on
was there
there.
was rumors that it was supposed to come, but we don't know if it's happening or not.
And you recently lost $1 Million Minute.
Oh, we lost that
Uh,
like in 2015 for the
What
Chase
was that?
Australia.
What was that show about? $1 Million Minute.
I'll explain it to you in a nutshell, Scott. It's basically Sale of the Century, but it's rounds where basically the one with the highest money can basically lower their score to win cash, and at the end you get each level. At the end, you get 5 questions, and if you get them all right, you win that amount of money for each level. I think the first safe level was 75, but in a 2-3 year run it had on Channel 7, there was $1 million winner. He
Yeah.
took over like $1 million, $1,000,005 or something. I can't remember.
Nice.
Now, Carla, of the shows that the United States has right now, particularly the ones on ABC and Fox and NBC, because they're the only ones on right now. Now, which one of those would you like to see in Australia? An Australian version.
Well, we've had Pressure Luck. We've had Wheel.
Did
We've
you have
had Card Shark. We've had Card Sharks, which is play. We've had Jeopardy, but that lasted a year. Oh boy.
Okay, then. Let me. Of the shows that are on now, let's just say Pyramid, To Tell the Truth, Card
Oh.
Sharks.
Well, if
Oh.
we were to bring Pyramid back, I would scrap the whole children's version and just have it as celebrities and normal people playing for money.
So basically, you had the junior partner pyramid version.
Yep, and the junior part of Wipeout too.
Okay. All right, then. Now, Woj, what do you think other countries are thinking by seeing this? I mean, they're seeing popularity in game shows all over again.
I mean, I could see. I mean, considering that they see that America is banking on the nostalgia for these classic versions of these popular shows. So, I mean, I could see them just doing their own primetime revivals of their own shows. I mean, I know in the UK they're going to be rebooting blockbusters again.
Ooh.
I hope they keep their that theme song that they have over there.
I would love what I would love to see. I mean, if you have not seen the remake with Simon Mayo, you need to go on YouTube and search Blockbusters UK Simon Mayo. I mean, he did an absolute perfect job with that show.
Taking over the reins of who was the original presenter?
Almost.
Yeah, but both had and they used, I think, now correct me if I'm wrong, they used college kids on that one, I think, right?
High school.
Yeah,
Right.
it was a kid's show. It was a kid's show.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, we
Teenagers.
had a kids we had a primary school kids version of Blockbusters here as well.
Now, you know what game show I'd like to see brought back here in the United States that I think would work if they were really wanting to do it?
What?
Oh, and go ahead, because that reminds me of something I got to mention. Go ahead.
How about the College Bowl? Get the college
Ooh.
quiz
GE
teams
College
back.
Isn't
Yeah.
it still on Isn't it still on in the UK as University Challenge?
Yes, it is.
I thought so.
Now, what were you going to say, Dave?
Nickelodeon has threw their hat in the ring. ring in this game show revival too. They've revived Double Dare. They've revived Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? Now they're taking a page from England and they're going to do a family version of a UK show, The Crystal Maze.
Do-do-do-do.
And I know they're flying families over to the UK to their set.
Yep,
Well, we build ours.
if we build ours. It will
Right.
depend on whether or not a season 2 is ordered.
Yeah.
Now, I think we talked about this before. Do we see a revival in Nick original game shows?
Well, the only one I see realistically happening is Legends of the Hidden Temple, considering
My thoughts exactly.
Same here.
Thoughts exactly.
Now, is that before or after Nick Arcade comes back?
I
If
think
Nick Arcade comes back.
Because we know Phil Moore is trying his darndest to get that show back
Yeah,
on the air.
it's in development hell. I know there was some kind of Indiegogo for it.
Hey,
I don't know what's happening with it.
there's Mark Summers right there. Mark could just buy the show and produce it and get it on.
Now that's one thing. Keep in mind, that's what Mark Summers did with Double Dare. He just bought the whole thing.
Yeah, but I was considering it would only be easier to get shows from Jeffrey Darby, considering his relationship with him.
Right.
Now, considering, now Jeffrey Darby did create Double Dare. He did create Finders Keepers, and he did create History IQ.
Oh, well.
I mean, I don't know if he'll be. I mean, I don't know if Mark Summers even has a relationship with Scott Stone to get Legends on the air.
But it wouldn't be so far of a stretch. Scott Stone, no, he might. As long as we don't get Steinberg involved in this, we're fine.
Oh, God.
As long as we don't get him involved in this, we're
Call
fine.
our friends over at Game Show Garbage to keep him away.
Yeah. As long as we don't get Scott Steinberg involved in this, we're fine. But
How bad is he?
Get
For
the
the-
people that know the show inside and out. Get the fans to produce it.
for those people that did not know Mark Summers, he purchased Double Dare in its entirety. It is his, it's his baby now. Now that's why.
good.
Actually, just hold on a minute. I mean, just looking through the IMDb page, I mean, there actually might be a chance, because in case you didn't know, Mark Summers did announce a show for Stone Stanley back for the Fox Family Channel called I Can't Believe You Said That.
Oh, so there might be a possibility that Mark Summers has a working relationship with Scott Stone.
Yeah, I mean, that was back in 1998. I don't know if he's still friendly with Scott, considering, I mean, in case you didn't know, that show was basically the Newlywed Game for families.
Yes, I remember.
Kind of like that game show that Bob Eubanks did.
Family Secrets.
Yeah.
Not the
We don't-
Darby game.
That's inaugurated in Game Show Garbage.
But in
And
But
also
it's not-
something else. Apparently, back when the Family Channel was still a thing, before Fox purchased it, Stone
Mhm.
Stanley was actually working with Mark Summers to do a revival of Let's Make a Deal for the network. But when
Ooh.
Fox purchased the channel, that fell by the wayside.
Oh.
Oh, wow. But he would have to go through Monty Hall for that.
Again, basically after Monty Hall stepped down, basically, if you remember, Dick Clark and Ron Greenberg did their own version of it.
Right. We're not allowed to talk about that.
that's there is
I didn't
I-
say it.
there
Right.
is something about that people do not know that Mr. Greenberg shared with us that we are not at liberty to discuss.
Why do you think I cut him off, Dave? Why do you think I cut him off?
Okay.
I stopped him right there.
Okay.
Yeah. So, wasn't Darby the one that also created Finders Funhouse?
No,
No,
that was
Ron
Scott.
Greenberg.
Yeah, Scott Stone also produced that.
Right. Ron Greenberg created Funhouse at Scott Stone's request.
Oh wow. Wonder if we'll see Funhouse come back.
Well, that's up to Scott.
Yeah, that's up to
Stone, that
Scott, and it'd be up to Ronnie too.
Right.
But Ronnie got, even though he really, after he created the show, he kind of stepped away from it. He still got residuals every time JD Roth stepped out on that stage.
Right.
Oh.
I'm sure he was kept up to date with the show and everything as it went on.
He was.
Well, we've seen Joker come back as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that TBS hasn't tried to get Tic Tac as a compliment.
Tic Tac Toe.
Yeah,
Now that's something. Because you got to remember, in most networks, Tic Tac Toe and Joker's Wild aired back to back.
Uh-huh.
Like Wheel and Jeopardy.
yeah,
Yep.
they were the Wheel and Jeopardy of their day.
Right.
Now, as far as Joker's Wild, I'm glad somebody mentioned that because now it's on TNT, not TBS. Has Joker's Wild come into its own?
Definitely.
It has, since it just finished its second season.
You mean
Has the
third season?
been ordered? I haven't heard.
Yeah, we don't know if it's been renewed yet.
Right. But they just wrapped their second season, and to my surprise, I am going to admit this. I'm not too keen on the format, but as far as its host, he really gripped the concept of it.
Hey,
Right.
Snoop Dogg?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg really grasped the concept of the Joker's Wild.
I think Jack would be proud.
And
This
everyone
coming
else
from
too.
the
Like
guy that said pie and the horse.
among other things.
Snoop Dogg is on record saying that his favorite game show growing up was The Joker's Wild.
I mean, I think he's a lover of game shows in general. I remember when he was on The
Yeah.
Price is Right, he proved to be very knowledgeable on prices.
Yeah.
Right.
But not so knowledgeable on Celebrity Family Feud.
Another subject for another time.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll save that one for our subject for game show follies.
Not the
For
actual
that-
Game Show Follies website.
Yeah.
For that one, we might have to see if we can course Cindy to come in for that one.
Well, if we're going to do Game Show Follies, we have to get the moderator of that website, Casey Abell.
Well, that's true.
Right. No, if we're going to do game show followers, I'd rather have Cindy on.
We could have them both, actually.
Right.
Okay. Now,
Okay.
let's talk about card sharks. Joe Mahale. Now, Woj, you mentioned this earlier. You would have rather had
Dax Shepard.
Dax Shepard instead of Joe Mahale. Why?
Well, again, first of all, when I saw him hosting Spin the Wheel, I mean, he was clearly interested in the contestants' stories, and also was keeping the game fast paced. He was on the edge of his seat watching the wheel spin. I mean, because Joel was very standoffish when they're turning the cards and contestants are making their bets. He had good-natured humor there as opposed to Joel's more crass humor.
Right, I can see why, because it's not him turning the cards. If it was him turning those cards, we would probably see a better way with that.
Because now he's got well, I guess you could say Joel, if he was turning those cards, he's got a dog in the fight.
Yeah, because Jim, Bob, and Bill turned the cards on their versions. Pat Bullard did not turn the cards.
Yeah.
Right.
Really?
We turned the cards on our version too.
Yeah.
Any of us who do card tricks on the convention scene, whether it be me, whether it be Greg, who's had a few episodes of Play Your Cards Right, whether it be us, Jim Perry, Bob Eubanks, Bill Rafferty, or the late Bruce Forsyth, we all turn the cards.
I
And-
can mention one too.
I mean, and it makes me wonder if he had already committed to hosting this show before or after he started starring in Bless This Mess on ABC, considering, I mean, you would think it would be natural for ABC to want to cross-promote their shows here and have Dax Shepard host one of their shows. I mean, because it's also going to depend if he's going to stay committed to Bless This Mess or spin the wheel, but I think ABC had a missed opportunity there. I mean, I don't think he
No,
would have turned the
I
cards.
agree.
I don't think
I
Dax
agree.
would have turned the cards, but you can tell he would have been much more into it than Joel.
Right.
Yeah.
And at
But
least he
did it-
wouldn't have that. And at least he wouldn't have that blunder that happened on the very first episode.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well-
we've already talked about it several times on and off this podcast.
Yeah,
Right.
No. Well, we know there was one
It's
more.
it's now become a moot point.
Yeah, it's now moot.
Well, there's one more host you forgot, Scott.
Now, Anthony Anderson is host of To Tell the Truth.
All right.
Is he capable? And is To Tell the Truth gonna stick around again? And I mean, it's more comedy now than it was a panel game. Whoa,
Oh.
Where did they change? Where did they change with it?
they haven't changed anything with it per se. It's still four panelists trying to figure out who's telling the truth of this wacky story.
Cool.
Or
It's-
yeah. So wait, why is the story wacky now?
Because it's more because they're looking for more comedy than they are, like in the beginning, the very first story told on To Tell the Truth, they showed the panel three men and said one of these men is going to be the governor of West Virginia.
Oh my goodness.
That was the very first story on To Tell the Truth in the 1950s. They showed him.
Wow.
They showed the panelists three men and said one of these men is going to be the governor of West Virginia. Who is it?
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
Even Alex's stories weren't that far fetched.
I mean,
Yeah.
I remember John O'Hurley's version got into risque territory sometimes.
Oh.
But now we're seeing that risque stuff in To Tell the Truth, and I think it really doesn't need it. We see it a lot in Family Feud, and it doesn't need it either.
Right. Well, probably from up there in the great sound stage in the sky, Goodson, Todman, and Stewart are looking down on this and just shaking their heads.
Uh-huh.
Now, yeah, that is something that people do not realize is that Bob Stewart was the creator of To Tell the Truth. He was actually its producer too in the beginning.
I mean, if anything, I mean, we should probably listen to any of Sandy's complaints.
Yeah. We'd have to listen to Sandy Stewart's complaints about his dad's creation.
Oh.
What? You would think that Sandy Stewart would have say in it since it was
I mean, at most, Sandy has been a consultant on game shows in recent years.
right.
He hasn't really created anything, but he's been a consultant in many productions, including a few on the Hub, on what is now Discovery Family Channel.
Is that the same for Richard Dawson's son too?
Who, Gary?
Yeah, 'cause I know he's produced and create. I think he was the creator of Instant Recall.
Right.
But he's a producer now, I think, too, right?
Yes,
That's
and I know his daughter, Richard's daughter-in-law, Kathy, has been a producer on some shows.
Right.
now seeing that we're going to talk about Pyramid, and we've talked about and we're talking about game show people working in game shows. Oh, there's Elliot.
Royalty.
Oh.
Okay.
And all the way from from the bottom of South Mountain, keeper of the whammies, it's Sir El.
Mountain Hawk, as everybody else calls it.
Okay.
Hello and good day.
We have
It's Sir Elliot, the whammy slayer.
Yep.
now.
Here we go.
Elliot,
Now,
welcome to the podcast.
Thank you and welcome.
Did you know that Jim Perry's 2 kids worked for Bob Store Productions?
Oh wow!
Yeah, I know Aaron worked on $25,000 Pyramid.
Yeah.
Sean, I forget what he's done.
But they both work for Bob Store Productions.
That's funny because but Jim worked for Mark Goodson, Red Grundy.
And
He-
whoever produced Definition.
Right.
That was
And
In
you
the
got
Great White North up there.
one show he was going to do for Bob Stork didn't get picked up, which is a shame.
What show?
Twisters.
yes, I saw that one. Yeah, that looked like a good show.
Right.
NBC didn't pick it up, but it was a Bob Stork creation.
I like the shuffleboard aspect of it. That was fun.
Yes. They pulled a page out of what was it? The one with the stunts on it. Beat the clock. They had a shuffleboard round at the end.
Sure, but Elliot, yeah. Oh, that's right. The Hall version of
The
Beat the
Monty Hall
Clock.
version had a shuffleboard at the. That's how they termed. They added points to their score with that.
Right.
Yeah.
And the highest
And that-
score
and
got to play for 10 times the value of what they hit on the shuffleboard.
Right. That was the only time that I think. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. That was the only time Monty Hall ever worked for for somebody else.
Yeah. The only time.
Wait,
Was
didn't he host Video Village at one point?
I think
At
he
the-
did.
I'll
Yeah,
take a look.
at the start of his career.
Yeah, I mean, because I know he did other shows for a couple of the producers.
He also took over on 21 for a while too.
Yeah, I mean, in another show that I saw him host, it was a Canadian show called The Joke's on Us, which is a comedy game show that marked the television debut of Maurice LaMarche.
Here it is, Monty Hall, 1960 to 1962 for Video Village.
Thank you, Elliot. Okay. Now,
Where does that name sound familiar, Lamar?
He was the voice of the Brain on Pinky and the Brain.
Oh, right.
The pinky and the brain.
Elliot.
Yes.
Carla, sing any more and we have to pay them.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, another royalty, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, so sing any more and we have to pay,
Warner Brothers.
no, we'd have to pay Steven Spielberg.
It was- then Elliot.
Yes.
Do you think Press Your Luck is going to stick around this time?
I sure hope so. It looks good. They did a good job with it, and the bonus round does it makes it a $1 million game. And when you play a primetime game, you have to have a big prize on primetime game. I'm surprised
You
Match
got to
Game
have a
didn't,
big jackpot.
I'm
in other
surprised
words.
Match Game didn't up the ante to 50 grand.
Oh.
But yeah, but you definitely need big. If you have big money at nighttime to show big money and all the excitement that Press Your Luck brings, I hope it's here to stay. I haven't seen the ratings on it yet, but maybe I could get some ratings here. I'll take a look.
The ratings are going up for Press Your Luck. They're going nowhere but up. Now,
Dave,
I'm looking it
Dave,
up right now.
while Elliot's looking that up, Dave, speaking of Video Village, I just typed in Google, I did a Google search for it
Yep.
and everything. And I just found out that there was a board game for it too.
Yes, I know. I've seen it. I've seen pictures of it anyway. Oh, here it is. The network's 3 game show lineup leads all 3 hours in prime time in both adults 18 to 49 and total viewers.
in other words, we got a hit on our hands.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
8.7 million viewers the last week.
Holy cow.
Like I said, we've got a hit on our hands.
Yes, we do, and I would love to see it come back. Hopefully, they bring it back for winter season too. Because Match Game's doing winter and summer now. I hope they put Press Your Luck along with it. It's that good of a show.
Is Pyramid doing the same thing, Elliot, or no?
That Pyramid has not done a winter season yet. Oh, the match game was the only one that had the winter season.
To tell the truth, did as well.
So there's two. Okay.
The only ones that have not got a winter season is Pyramid. Pyramid has not got a winter season yet, but it might.
Neither is Card Shark and such yet.
Well, Card Sharks and Press
Cards
Your
are just
Luck.
started. They just started, so we don't know. They just started. They have to feel the waters
Earn
after
their
that.
way into the. They have to earn their way into the lineup.
Yeah, and Gong
Right.
Show never got a winter season.
Yeah,
the
whatever
Gong
happened
Show-
with that?
Well, again,
It
if
got
you could,
canceled.
yeah, because you could tell because Mike Myers recently signed a contract with Netflix to do a show for them.
Right.
Someone go find a necromancer.
So
We got to resurrect Chucky baby.
now, anyway, when we look at the state of games right now, Elliot,
Yeah.
we've got Fox with Spin the Wheel. We got ABC with several shows. We got NBC.
I didn't
with
get to
Wall.
spin the wheel yet. That I was at work that night.
Yeah. We got NBC with The Wall. We got CNBC with the revival of Deal or No Deal.
The Wall's coming back. I haven't seen the Wall in a while.
Yeah, it's coming back this July,
July
July 11th.
What is?
The
The Wall.
Oh, The Wall. Okay.
All in
Okay.
all, it's just another brick.
Yeah, and,
No.
NBC still
Not
has Hollywood
bad.
Game Night every summer.
Okay. With the state of games as they are, do you see CBS? I asked this earlier to the rest of the panel, but now I'm going to ask you: do you see CBS getting their hat into the ring?
Well, are you talking
They
about
need-
just
they
what?
Well,
what-
they have Amazing Grace. They have a couple others, but they have a lot of reality shows, and
Well,
that's what they're banking on.
Well, again, considering, I mean, I mentioned this on the last podcast. CBS hasn't had a successful game show since Let's Make a Deal, and in the last 10 years, they've only had 5 game shows that have all been gone after one season: The Briefcase, Hunted, Candy Crush, TKO, $1 Million Mile.
Yeah, they've been in the pretty much garbage game shows.
Yeah, none of them have been revived. I mean, the last revival they did in prime time was $1 Million Password, which was okay, but got canceled due to demographic problems.
They could probably get away with doing a nighttime Price is Right. That I could see them easily doing.
They're basically doing the $1 Million Spectaculars in daytime with Dream Car Week and Big Money Week.
Yes.
Yeah, so that kind of mutes that.
Now, the thing about that is, I'm glad you brought that up. With the possible exit of Mike Richards, do you see those weeks? Do you see Dream Car Week and Big Money Week staying on the show, or do you think they're gone?
I think they might stay, considering those are the biggest draws. Those are good for sweeps week. I mean, I don't know if we're gonna see the other, quote unquote holiday shows like, the Super Bowl show, unless any sporting event is airing on CBS or just any kind of cross promotional CBS stuff.
See, now, if I was to do now, this is just me speaking, and this is me coming from my, the background of love of anime and love of comics and everything. But if I was in Richard's place, or if I was coming into Richard's place and everything, I would mention to Drew, why not do a week worth of shows on, have Comic-Con week and everything.
I mean, that's very niche there.
Yeah, kind of narrow topic. Everybody
Right.
loves cars. Everybody loves cars. Everybody loves big money. Not everybody loves comics.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's-
Small audience.
No. What I mean is by that is you have the entire audience filled with cosplayers and everything.
You have to get a lot of them to come just for Price is Right, and cosplayers and Price is Right. I mean, you personally, yes, you would do it, but how many cosplayers are really into the game shows like that?
Okay,
Right.
got a point.
Let's make a deal. Let's make a deal is where you get. If you want to cosplay, let's make a deal.
Yeah,
Yep.
because that's where you usually see it.
Right. But But then again, that was me, so I was just throwing my hat out there as well.
And
Oh, no.
besides, I could see Mike Richards working on, since he's working for Sony now, I could see him producing some of the revivals of Sony products.
Like what?
Now
Maybe
now remember, Sony owns the Barry and Enright Library, the Bob Stewart Library, and the Jay Wolpert Library. You've got a lot to draw from there.
Well, Joker's Wild's already taken.
Right.
Tic-Tac-Toe is not really you're not really your primetime excitement fair.
21?
21.
NBC
They
owned.
tried that.
they tried that in 2000. Besides, 21 is a NBC-owned show. It's owned by Universal.
Is that true? Wait, did NBC bought the rights to that?
They even
Yes.
bought the rights to all the Barry and Enright shows in the 50s, but Barry and Enright bought Tic-Tac-Toe back.
Cool.
I'm surprised they didn't buy Concentration back.
Yeah, by
Yeah,
that time,
People
NBC.
don't understand. That's something that a lot of people don't understand. That Jack Barry was the creator of Concentration.
Really?
Was he? So Dave, I gotta ask you this. Even after the whole situation with the scandals, was Barry still credited for Concentration after that?
He was not.
He was not. He was completely wrote out of it.
That's sad.
He is the creator, but he was completely wrote out of Concentration after he sold it to NBC.
Yeah, and he was pretty much blacklisted from television for about 15 years after that.
Well,
Until he got the
who
Joker.
owns the Miller Hader and Bob Quigley library?
MGM.
MGM does.
Yeah, basically Mark Burnett, since his company combined with MGM a few years ago.
Yeah.
He runs MGM's television division now.
I see. So does that mean we could see a revival of like High Rollers?
Yeah, I don't see Mark Burnett doing stuff like that.
Right. He's already doing
Grader.
doing Fifth Grader on Nickelodeon with a $100,000 grand prize, the biggest
Oh.
grand prize that Nickelodeon's ever offered.
Now, how are they doing that? Because we know Nick to be a kids network. How are they doing Fifth Grader?
They're doing Fifth Grader like
Like it was on Fox.
it was on Fox. They've got one adult going up against the kids to see if they can answer, grade school trivia questions.
Well, I see. Okay.
And
Oh,
John Cena is the host, and he's quite frankly, he said, "As you won this much, but you didn't win the 100,000. There's the camera."
And there's
No.
only six questions in the game, plus the 100,000. Here it is. The first six questions cover first through fourth grade, with one question for each first and second grades, and two questions for each third and fourth grade. So you have one first, one second, two thirds, two fourths. That's six questions, and then you get to play for the the
For the
100,000. There's no save, just a peek and a copy. The first question right is for 250, then 500, then 1,000, 2,500, 5,000, 10,000, and then for the 100,000.
Now, do the kids get anything as well?
I don't know about the kids. Let me take a look here.
I mean, I remember they got some scholarship money for the season.
Yeah. They do.
Yeah.
The kids get paid something at the end of the season, but
Scale, probably.
excuse me, guys. I'll be with you in a second.
Uh,
All right.
Anyway. Yeah.
But yeah, John Cena as host of Fifth Grader, he's more than capable.
And people were ready to write him off as not being good.
Well, he already hosted one other game show for Nickelodeon.
What? I did?
Yeah,
What
it
show?
was I forget its name, but it was the idea was to try to be the cleanest contestant after
Oh, I know what.
being slimed and all that.
Whiteout, I
Oh.
think.
No, it was Keep It Spotless.
Spotless.
Here it is. Keep it Spotless. And he premiered with him as an executive producer. The series premiered in July 2018.
Oh.
And
What we're seeing now,
I was going to ask this: are we seeing a new renaissance of game shows coming back?
absolutely,
I think absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
yeah, absolutely. We're gonna see this happen. We're gonna see a lot of this over the next few months and probably the next couple of years. ABC has demonstrated game shows are profitable. Game shows bring in the ratings, and they are cheap to produce.
Uh-huh.
Yep. I mean, I could see like if I was over on CBS or NBC or any of the major cable networks, I would try to be bringing back like High Rollers, Chain Reaction.
Now you're talking shows that are owned by other, one is, High Rollers is owned by Mark Burnett's company now,
Right.
and Chain Reaction is owned by Sony.
Right. Like I would put Chain Reaction back on GSN because I think GSN is owned by Sony.
Yes, well, AT&T now, owned by AT&T.
Right, Sony's owned by AT&T now.
Yes. Well, no, Game Show Network is owned by AT&T.
But they still probably have ties to Sony products and everything, right?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, they were
So-
created by Sony 25 years ago.
Right. So I would be working on trying to bring back like Chain Reaction, sell,
Yeah,
sell
then
this.
GSN did Chain Reaction twice.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
I
But
prefer
I-
the second version over the Dylan Lane version.
Right.
Well, the second version.
Anyone
I remember the
prefers
second one.
Say what, Elliot?
The second version. I remember the first one. When did the second one come out?
It was a few years ago.
2006, I
I
think it
Oh,
was.
you would know more about that than I do.
Yeah, I don't get GSN. I haven't gotten it
It
in a
was-
while.
See, 2015 was when the second version.
That's when I stopped. That's when I dropped the my larger cable package.
Yeah, that was hosted by, what was it, Mike Catherwood from Loveline?
Yeah.
Yeah, I only saw that a couple times, so
How did
Okay.
how did the end game for that version work?
They actually had a chain you had to solve.
A lot better than that version. The one where you have to build the question. That's good for celebrities to do it, work on it, but not for.
No. We've known what happened when we've tried to do the name
yeah.
of the game is Go.
Well,
That went bad, really bad.
That went from grapes to sour, apples to apples.
yeah, I mean, if you've ever tried it yourselves, it is not as easy as it looks.
Yeah.
No.
There are the actors do it because that's actually improv exercises. The actors know how to do it. That's why it worked
Right.
so well.
And those contestants are trained. They teach the contestants. They have time to learn the game. And I will tell you this: when you're doing this in a convention setting, you don't have time like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, we got we still have some time here.
Yeah, we got.
It's 10:27 right now.
Yeah, we still
Yeah,
have some.
3 minutes before 11
Yeah.
o'clock.
Okay, then. Carla, the state of games right now, good or bad?
they're good.
Okay. Scott, the state of games right now, good or bad?
Good.
Woj,
It's good. We got a good mix of remakes and originals.
Elliot.
Definitely good. Keep them coming. But we want more and more and more.
Now-
We've only touched the second course. We want the third course, the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh
I'm ready
course.
for dessert.
Well, you got to go through the third course. You got to go through the 6 other courses before you can get to dessert.
That's why it's a buffet.
No, we're serving this Titanic style, so it's a 7-course meal, and you get Sanka coffee with it.
Oh,
It did sink.
Yeah, and that is the type of coffee they served on it. Yep.
Okay. All right, Elliot.
Yes.
When it's all said and done, is ABC leading the way towards the renaissance of the game show revivals?
Definitely, absolutely. You have so many of them now. Too many. You need 2 sticks to shake at them.
I would say 3. 2
Now-
to shake and 1 to poke.
What do you think ABC's going to do next? I mean,
Password?
I don't think so. That wasn't. They're probably. I think they're probably going to make up a new one.
I'm
They
just
got-
saying, considering that Jimmy Fallon has had success with Password on his show.
Could
Right.
be. Yeah. I don't know which
How
variant.
about-
I don't think they would do a password plus thing or something like that.
Right.
But
And they,
not
have
the
to,
bad
they definitely have to
quality.
do it. They definitely have to do an alphabetics round because they
Definitely not super password.
and not that $1 million format. That was awful.
Right.
They could do a bonus round for 50,000 or 25,000. I don't see why not.
And besides, we're now in the post-millionaire era of television.
Absolutely.
Right.
Too bad.
game-
It's a shame.
But game shows are still trying to. But you still have some game shows giving away $1 million.
Yeah, I'm just saying, this is the first time in 20 years we do not have Who Wants to Be a Millionaire on television. And we'll see what the remnants are of that.
that's one thing that's hard to see. That's one thing that's hard to see. Millionaire stuck around longer than many people thought it would.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Despite many format and host changes.
Right. What I would love to see Millionaire come back in its original form.
Right.
It would be easy to do that as a primetime show. I mean, I don't think Millionaire was really meant to be a daytime show.
No, it wasn't.
But they ran with it for 20 seasons.
Yeah, it's just once they start making the questions harder and harder and nobody's getting to the 6-figure amounts, people are going to tune out.
Right. Well, people
Or-
started tuning out when they realized the $1 million jackpot was not paid in one lump sum. It was paid over 20 years anyway.
What?
Yeah, so that means the John Carpenter should be getting his last payment this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a ripoff. I mean, you're gonna have $1 million show. Give them the $1 million. Damn it.
What? What?
See, if that was me, then after that I'd be calling up like, if it's a structured settlement, you know who I would be calling.
J.G. Whitworth.
Right.
8 guys, no.
Yep. And in no way, shape, or form are we sponsored by them.
Yeah,
No, we are not
Oh.
sponsored. We have no sponsors right now, ladies and gentlemen. We are on our own.
Would you see Millionaire in a hot seat format like ours?
I think that's too complicated for our audience.
Yeah, our audience is not sophisticated for that. Anyway, I think that's going to wrap it up for us
Yep.
for that. So, until next time, Elliot,
Yeah,
thank you for joining us.
you're welcome. I'm sure.
Woj, always a pleasure.
And always a pleasure as well.
Carla, thank you.
Anytime.
Folks, we don't have a set subject for our next broadcast. cast, which will be next week. But we will post on our website, on our Facebook page, when we do have our subject.
Yep.
We do ask you to please tune in and listen.
And we're sorry if that's something that we've been neglecting to keep you guys updated over on the Facebook page. It's just that we've had busy work schedules, so we do apologize for that. Anyway, if you like what you see here, please hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, click that bell to be notified of when new podcasts are coming out. And until next time, we'll see you
Bye.
then. Take
Bye
care,
bye.
everyone.
Have fun storming the castle.
Say goodnight, Elliot.
Good night, Elliot.